This bruised-up hottie with the tragic backstory is as the adopted son of the legendary Elmhem family. We're talking about the continent's strongest military bloodline, basically the royal family's personal hitmen for generations. The patriarch Roderick A. Elm is the only main character energy in the kingdom rocking 7 wings. Total final boss vibes. During one messy campaign, after he finished absolutely mogging the entire battlefield, he spots his son Az barely holding on and bleeding out behind him. Roderick acts like the doting dad, but Az calls out the fraud, exposing that Roderick used his unit as bait to bait the enemy. And once they served their purpose, he tossed them away like trash. Roderick doesn't even flinch. He just starts roasting Az, claiming this loser like him has zero value anyway. Years ago, Roderick found Az as a dying kid stuck in a blizzard. He played the savior card and raised him, which is why Az did everything possible to pay back that life debt. But because he wasn't blood-related and had 0 wings, he couldn't live up to the daddy's boy standards. Every NPC in the house mocked him, a wingless freak with no crash. They're talking about wing crests. The more you've got, the more OP your hidden mana is. Az was the only one in the Duke's mansion who couldn't use magic, literally the ultimate bottom-tier L. Still, he didn't give up. He hit the gym, or rather training grounds, with his blade every single day, thinking his loyalty would eventually pay off. Huge canon event mistake. Instead of a reward, he got an ambush squad and the coldest line from his father. "You're just a mid-tier tool. What gives you the right to expect anything from me? Looking at you makes me sick. Get lost." Az finally realized just how much of a clown he'd been. He gripped his sword and went full Leroy Jenkins straight at the guy. But obviously he got mogged by his 2 brothers and tied up in red chains. Az crawled in the dirt, humiliated, and asked the real question. "If you were just gonna throw me away, why save me in the first place?" And that's when the plot twist dropped. Az actually had the power of the 7 wings hidden inside him the whole time. After dropping the lore, cold-hearted Roderick just walked away, leaving Az to rot in the snow while his 2 brothers prepped the execution. In his final moments, just as he was about to get cooked, he felt something weird. A mysterious warm aura started wrapping around his body. Az blinked, and suddenly he's back in the body of a newborn baby. Mommy energy detected. He's wrapped in the arms of a woman, safe and sound. But the peace didn't last. Soldiers were everywhere, shouting and searching. Ordered to find that woman and bring the baby back to the Lord Roderick at any cost. The second he hears the name Roderick, the gears in his brain start turning. He remembers being picked up in a snowy wasteland just like this. Realizing he's actually been regressed back to the exact day he was found during that blizzard, our boy starts tweaking, desperately trying to wriggle out of the woman's grasp. He's speedrunning his own survival guide. Don't get caught by the Duke's family, or it's game over. His limbs are burning up with fever, but he's still crawling through the deep snow like a total giga-chad. He pushes past his limits until he eventually face-plants at the feet of a cute little noble girl. She looks back and yells for her dad, Viscount Ferret. He scoops the kid up looking worried and drops the classic NPC line, "How is a baby even surviving out here?" Then he spots the long trail of tracks in the snow and his jaw hits the floor. The sheer willpower of this kid is built different. Now the Viscount is getting suspicious, wondering just who this kid really is. Suddenly, a weird hazy flashback starts playing like a glitched loading screen. "Where am I?" Little and Finn appears in his mind saying, "This kid came to meet me." Aster snaps back to reality, jolting awake with the lingering trauma of that dream still hitting him hard. The angel in Finn peeks in and gushes, "Big sis." He's opening his eyes, but Free just frowns and says, "Don't poke him, you'll rip his cute nose off." Aster goes full feral mode, thrashing around so hard the other kids start panicking, like what is even going on right now? He doesn't stop there. He starts rubbing his face all over Free's sleeve until she screams, "No, stop that right now." With one final burst of main character energy, he launches himself out of everyone's arms. He's scrambling forward like he's chasing a legendary loot drop. Free is absolutely shook. "Damn it, what is his deal?" She grabs Finn and starts the chase, but Aster is just confused. Why are these NPCs following him? He grinds his teeth, channeling every ounce of mana he's got to lunge forward. His pupils start glowing with a weird, ominous aura. Suddenly, his tiny body is lifted by a mysterious force. Wait, I'm flying? Is this magic? He tries to flip mid-air, attempting a sick parkour move to change his fate. But the mana just vanishes, and he starts free-falling like a total noob. "I've got zero control over this." He slams his eyes shut, bracing for the inevitable faceplant. Out of nowhere, a man catches him. "What, are you just gonna keep falling out of the sky?" "This kid is weird as hell," he mutters. Aster's eyes pop open, and he realizes this is Viscount Atred, the older brother of the Duke. His internal monologue is screaming, "No way! Is this another branch of the Elm family?" Memories flood back. Atred was a pillar of the family who fought alongside Roderick to protect the royalty. But wait, the H-Frey he knew was supposed to die in a civil war along with his entire lineage. Aster finally puts the pieces together. His memory banks are confirmed. He's 100% back in the past. He lets out a defeated sigh. "I tried so hard to dodge the Duke's family, only to get picked up by his brother instead. We are cooked." Aster found himself snuggled deep in a lady's arms, her eyes filled with worry. "Did the kid's mana go rogue and launch him into the sky? I knew he wasn't your average NPC." Then she flashed a smile that was way too sweet for this chaotic moment. The woman hugged Aster tight, whispering, "You must have been terrified, but you're safe with me now." Aster just stared at her with wide eyes, completely lost in the sauce, not knowing what the hell was happening. Hyfried stood nearby, watching the scene unfold with a soft smile. He reached out to touch Aster, his voice dropping low. "This kid is packing power that defies all logic." Hyfried pulled back his shirt, revealing a mysterious marking on his back, the ultimate proof. The woman's face distorted in pure shock, the seven wings. It's him. Even Aster was shook, staring at the mark. Why on earth is this thing branded on my body? His pupils dilated as the suppressed memories came flooding back, hitting him like a truck. He recalled Roderick's words from his past life. The only thing we need is the power of the seven wings hidden inside you. Everything clicked, and he was absolutely floored. So that's how it was. Aster suddenly flashed back to that cold, snowy night. Roderick grabbed Aster only to use him as a tool. Thinking back, his fists clenched in pure rage. He didn't save me, he just wanted to harvest my seven wings. You call that save? You literally ripped the wings off someone else's back, you absolute fraud. The woman hugged him tighter, clearly anxious, and shot a wary look at Hyfried. What are we even supposed to do with a kid like this? Aster's internal alarm bells went off, his tiny hands balling into fists. I can't let this power fall into the hands of the EM family. I need this to enact my revenge. Hyfried mulled it over for a second before dropping the bomb. I'm going to adopt this child. That single sentence killed the tension, leaving Aster staring in total disbelief. Hyfried reached out with those sturdy hands toward the baby. He gently patted Aster's head, thinking, this kid is just a fledgling bird that can't even fly yet. Until the day he decides to take flight on his own terms, I'll be the one raising him. Aster's eyes widened to the size of saucers. He couldn't believe his luck. Just then, Martha and Free came tumbling onto the floor. Hyfried glanced at the kids, going into full dad mode. You guys been eavesdropping this whole time? Martha sat up, whispering softly, we were just worried about the little guy. Hyfried just sighed, while Free scrambled over to the woman's side, buzzing with energy. She stared at Aster with pure big sister vibes. What's his name, Mom? She smiled, thinking for a moment, then lifted him up high. From now on, your name is Aster. A new star has officially been born into our family. And just like that, 10 years flew by in the blink of an eye. The moment he steps on campus, some lackey bows down like a pro. We've been waiting, my lord. Total main character energy from the Viscount's house. And then, the absolute Chad Aster steps out of the carriage. He steps out with that I own this place aura, oozing pure, unadulterated confidence. He's a total gentleman, hand-holding Anfin as she steps down. Talk about being a certified simp, but make it classy. She gives him a smile that could stop time. Thanks, Aster. Aster watches her bounce away, staring at his waifu with that I'd protect that smile look. He grabs his sword, trailing behind her like the ultimate bodyguard. The Sword Dance Gala, an annual flex fest for the noble elite hosted by the Duke, where rich kids come to peacock. It's basically a networking event, but for these spoiled brats, it's just a stage to show off their prodigy heirs. They strut behind Hyfrey, flanked by the glory of the family, looking like the main attraction. Hyfrey leads the charge with Aster and Anfin following behind like the ultimate power trio. The NPCs start chirping. Look, the Viscount's house is here, they're back to be the laughingstock? Heard they couldn't even birth an heir, so they adopted some literal who from the slums. How much longer are they going to drag the family name through the dirt? Aster just walks past them, unfazed, leaving the crowd shook. Wait, is that him? Anfin notices he's actually listening to the hate and tries to comfort him. Don't let them get to you. She squeezes his hand, trying to stay strong. In this cutthroat society, showing even a pixel of weakness means you're getting absolutely mogged. Aster stays stone-faced while poor Anfin is vibrating with rage beside him. Hyfrey drops the hard truth in a low voice. This is the current status of our house. He pauses, looking back at Aster with a gaze full of unexpected trust. I want you to see this for yourself. Seeing Aster's ice-cold expression, he asks, are you disappointed? Aster just smirks, radiating pure savage energy. Not at all, father. This coldness, it suits me just fine. Hyfrey laughs with genuine pride. And yeah, he's right. In his past life, Aster was the family's greatest L, an absolute fraud. His debut in high society was the definition of cringe compilation, a complete disaster. A place filled with nothing but trauma. Aster grips his sword, eyes glowing with a new resolve. But now that the seven wings are back, I'm a completely different beast. Aster narrows his eyes, his gaze sharp enough to cut glass. He's locked in, and the target is already cooked. Suddenly, Hyfrey, Anfin, and Aster all look up at a classroom window. Behind the glass, Darius and Grion are staring down with that villain of the week stank face. Aster stays silent, staring right back, his hand tightening around his sword. He keeps pace with Hyfrey, already planning his next move. Alright, let's turn this debut into a legendary bloodbath. The sword tournament, the main event, starts, proving that in this era, if you can't swing a sword, you're just an NPC in someone else's story. The swordsman grips his blade, eyes burning with that I'm the protagonist intensity. His opponent isn't some mid-tier trash. He grinds his teeth and lunges, because a real knight needs both muscle and that main character aura. They clash in a flurry of sparks as the crowd loses their minds. Speed, precision, and raw power, the stronger swordsman sends his opponent flying. Because at the end of the day, reputation is everything, and he just secured the W. The cold-blooded beast lunges forward. The intensity is off the charts as they clash, pure momentum driving this absolute banger of a fight. And then the truth reveals itself, a mark that separates the peasants from the absolute legends. A mysterious sigil ignites on the swordsman's arm, and his eyes start glowing with that main character energy. He swings with absolute malice, shattering his opponent's blade into scraps. Talk about a total skill issue for the other guy. He holds his sword high, basking in the crowd's worship while looking like an absolute Chad. Behold the winged sigil, the ultimate flex for anyone trying to claim the throne of power. The winner is literally glowing with the mark, but Anfin is over it. She's covering her ears, totally pressed by how suffocating this NPC-filled stadium feels. She remembers how Freed and Free looked earlier and sighs. No wonder the queens wanted to skip this clown show. Meanwhile, Aster is standing there looking gloomy, staring at his own feet like he's trying to find a reason to exist. He's low-key having a PTSD moment, remembering exactly how hard he got mogged by Darius last time. And Finn notices him spiraling and hits him with the classic, "You good?" "Aster," she asks, low-key worried, "You feeling the pressure? It's your first sword dance festival, don't flop now." But the vibe shifts. He hits her with that calm, collected confidence. Deep down, he's thinking this whole thing feels weirdly nostalgic. And Finn is confused as heck, wondering what's going on in that brain of his. Then the legendary Freed pulls up, dropping the go-to class excuse before telling Aster to babysit and Finn. She's definitely not vibing with that, flexing that she's way more talented, but he just smiles and hits her with a "Nah, you're mid at best." Freed puts a hand on Aster's shoulder with that "I have high expectations" look. "Network with the other kids, stop being a loner." Then he switches up, dropping his voice to a whisper. "And for the love of God, keep your secret on the down low or you're cooked." Aster watches him walk away, feeling the heat. He realizes everyone in the room is staring at him with pure, unfiltered bloodlust. Aster sighs, "How am I supposed to connect with people when they're all looking at me like I'm the main course?" Suddenly his eyes lock onto something, the plot gears start turning, and Finn panics as she sees him walking away. "Yo, Aster, where are you going, you absolute madman?" He doesn't even look back, dropping the coldest line. "Just going to make some friends." He heads straight for Darius and his group of lackeys. Darius looks at him with pure disgust. "Who the hell is this bottom-tier NPC?" Aster steps up, voice echoing with unbothered confidence. "Pleasure to meet you, Brother Darius." His expression is pure trolling perfection. "I'm Aster, your little brother." He keeps talking, completely ignoring the fact that Darius is visibly triggered. "Saw you from across the room, thought I'd come say hi." Then Ron chimes in with the toxic banter. "Oh, so this is the adopted trash the Viscount picked up from the gutter?" Darius lets out a nasty, condescending laugh. "Aha, no wonder you're shameless enough to call yourself my brother." Aster's internal monologue is screaming Darius and the guys from the Elm clan, the exact same losers who jumped him in his past life. He stays silent, thinking about how they used to be his biggest nightmare, but now, they're just pathetic. They're literally just children playing dress-up, acting like they're actually important. And Finn suddenly jumps in, cutting the toxic tension like a pro. She grabs his hand, dead serious. "Aster, let's bounce. We did the greeting thing, let's get out of this dumpster fire." Darius spots them and starts yapping. "Yo, Anfin, you actually showed up?" He's already acting like the main character. What's the matter? Tired of hiding behind your daddy's back for once? The disrespect is off the charts. "Come here and dance like a monkey for us." That's an order from the main house. You know how this works, right? And Finn isn't having any of his NPC energy, snapping back, hard pass. "The main house and the branch aren't in a master-servant relationship, you absolute clown." Aster tries to pull her away. "Sis, wait." But he stops dead when he feels her hand shaking. "I wasn't done talking yet." Seeing her like this, honestly, it's hitting right in the feels. Darius, clearly auditioning for the role of Most Punchable Villain 2024, screams, "You guys have no idea, right?" He starts running his mouth. Her dad was a knight, but he failed to protect the king. So to take responsibility, his own brother chopped his arm clean off. And Finn freezes, but this loser just keeps digging his own grave. "Thank God I didn't inherit that failure's bloodline." She's fuming. "Take that back right now." Before she can even finish, Darius disrespectfully spits his wine right in her face. "If you insult my father one more time, I will." He sneers, looking down his nose at her, raising useless daughters who can't even inherit a baronetcy. "Your dad must be so embarrassed to have you as a spawn." He points his finger with that greasy, villainous smirk. "This isn't a ballroom, so wear something you don't mind getting soaked next time. Or just put on some rags instead. Suits you better." And Finn just grips her dress, silent and absolutely livid. Aster stands there, mind racing. He was so worried about this reunion on the way over. He scans the room, locking eyes with these pathetic losers. "I thought I wouldn't be angry when I saw them again. I was wrong." Aster snatches the wine bottle out of their hands and walks over, placing a hand on Anfin's shoulder to steady her. And he's not holding back. He hurls the bottle straight at Darius. "Yo, Darius!" He catches the bottle, looking shook and paranoid. Aster doesn't hesitate, drawing his blade and slicing the bottle in half with surgical precision. "Still the same piece of trash you've always been." Wine splatters all over Darius, who is straight up malfunctioning. "Huh?" Rand gasps in the background. Aster just licks the wine off his blade, radiating pure, unadulterated aura. "Relax, it's just grape juice." He gives Darius the same look of utter disgust. "Fits a bottom-tier parasite like you perfectly." Flashback to 3 years ago. A blood-curdling scream rings out. "Stop him." Aster's father warns, "Are you trying to kill your own sisters?" "Stay there," he commands with iron authority. "Get a grip." Watching the chaos, Highfried is shook to his core. So this is the Seven Wings. I never imagined it held this much dangerous power. He wonders to himself, is this kind of power even something that can be controlled? He's doubting everything, his own strength, his own sanity. Suddenly, a subordinate bursts into the room. "Viscount, it's an emergency." Everyone in the room is looking annoyed as hell. "What is it?" "We're in the middle of a negotiation," the subordinate stammers, sweating bullets. The lackey finally worked up the courage to report, "The main house and the branch family heirs of the Elm House are currently duking it out in a duel." The moment those words dropped, Highfried's face contorted into a nasty grimace. "What?" Meanwhile, Roderick's eyes narrowed into a deep, calculated gaze. As soon as he heard the news, he stood up and dipped out immediately. At the same time, and Finn rushed over looking confused. "Wait, what exactly is going on here?" The Duke's voice boomed with pure excitement. Look at him, he's having the time of his life. Seeing the Elm family engage in some fratricidal drama, that's not a show you get to see every day. With a judgmental glint in his eye, the entire room collectively lost their minds, dying to see how this pathetic disaster would end. The Duke smirked. This sword-dancing gala is about to turn into a total dumpster fire. Down in the arena, Darius raised his blade, flexing hard. Imagine trying to square up against a Duke's family. What a literal NPC. You're just a bastard raised in the gutters, you don't even understand the gap in our power levels. The crowd went wild witnessing the flex. That's the four-wing crest, the real deal. A Duke's air just hits different, no cap. Darius couldn't hide his smug aura. Alright, let's see your wing crest, loser. He kept spamming the emotes and trash-talking. What, too ashamed to show it after seeing mine. Aster, on the other hand, stayed ice-cold, unimpressed by that mid-tier jewelry. Aster looked at him with pure disdain. You actually think I'm that insecure about some cheap pattern? That single line absolutely triggered Darius, but why wait for him to blow a gasket? Aster laid out the stakes. If I win, you apologize to my sisters. Deal, the cousin agreed with a villainous grin. Fine, and if I win, you're my literal dog for life. Darius was radiating main character levels of delusional confidence. I'm going to own you for the rest of your pathetic existence. Darius's opening strike was lightning fast, but Aster shut it down cold. Still, the raw power behind the hit sent Aster sliding back, kicking up a massive cloud of dust. Aster's grip on his hilt tightened. He was locked in. Darius boasted like the total fraud he is. That right there is the power of a true successor. As he launched himself forward like a hurricane, Anfin watched in pure anxiety. Aster, the spiked hair count, just sighed, thinking Darius's swordsmanship was pure beginner lobby level. Looking at the current scoreboard, even if your technique is hot garbage, the sheer mana gap from the four-wing crest compensates for everything. To put it in perspective, if a single wing's mana is a candle flame, the four-wing seal is a literal nuke. The longer the trade went on, the higher Darius's ego and aura gleamed. Where'd that attitude go, huh? Darius kept chirping. Didn't you say you'd make me apologize, or was that just all talk? He screamed. Show what you're actually made of. High up in the stands, the blonde Duke looked shook. Is this match already hitting its finale? Aster's sword tip blurred as he perfectly parried the heavy attack. Darius's eyes bulged in absolute shock. Wait, what? Aster just dropped the coldest line of the season. You talk way too much. And just like that, Aster swatted his cousin into the stratosphere like he was swatting a fly. The aura radiating off him right now, absolute main character energy. Deep down, Aster's thinking, 10 years of grinding mana control in that trash Viscount house, all for this one moment of pure sweet revenge. His eyes flashed with cold, lethal intent. He didn't even hesitate, launching a strike straight at Darius's head before the guy could even blink. Forced onto the back foot, Darius's knees smashed into the cold floor, Major L. The crowd, straight up stunned silence. Darius is actually getting folded like a lawn chair. Even he has no clue how he's losing this bad. I've got 4 wings, how is this happening? Aster didn't say a single word, total silent treatment, pure Chad behavior. That sword Darius is holding, it looks like it's about to snap in two. The mana pressure is skyrocketing, and the crowd is going wild. Wait, is this fraud actually about to win? The spectators are losing their minds, realizing Darius is getting absolutely mogged, zero counterplay, total skill issue. Everyone's getting goosebumps. Is there really a monster like this still hiding in the E-house? Aster's relentless assault continues, and those 2 bystanders are sweating bullets. It's over, Darius is gnashing his teeth, barely holding on. He's desperately trying to remember the past, stammering out like an NPC. Hey, stop, a shout rings out from the VIP box. Too late, a massive surge of power explodes, giving the crowd the show of a lifetime. Darius's sword just shattered into pieces. Aster didn't even sweat, dropping the ultimate roast. Next time, wear rags if you're gonna lose this hard. Aster dripped with sarcasm. At least wear something you don't mind getting soaked in your own defeat. His cousin realized he wasn't just some bottom-tier trash anymore. Amph looks at him with a proud grin, thinking, at least my head's finally clear enough to see the gap between us. Suddenly, Aster's pupils contract, a suffocating, oppressive aura is closing in. He flinches hard, the real final boss has finally entered the chat, Roderick. The hall is buzzing with absolute chaos. They can't believe the Viscount's youngest son just clapped the Branch family's third heir. Through the noise, someone steps forward, slow and menacing. The situation is officially off the rails. No way he lets his family name get dragged like this. It's none other than Aster with a face of pure ice, the 8th head of the main branch. Darius lets out a pathetic laugh, eyes locked on the new arrival. Aster stalks toward Roderick, his brow furrowed, radiating pure cold-blooded aura. Under that crushing pressure, he didn't blink once. Roderick the Duke is shook. Darius scrambled to his feet instantly, groveling like a dog at Roderick's feet. Father, Darius snitched, shaking a finger at Aster. It's him, the filthy half-blood brat who dared to defy the main branch. That only made the Duke angrier. He's begging his dad to use his influence and teach this trash a lesson. Roderick says nothing, just straight up mogging him with a cold-blooded strike. Darius is staring at his own hand, absolutely shook. Roderick's savage move has the whole hall dead silent. Even Gon is looking like a total NPC right now. Roderick pulls back, radiating pure main character aura. Why is this fraud still smiling? You've stained our family honor, and a loser who can't even avenge himself is just trash. Hai sees the red flag and starts screaming. No, stop it, Roderick. He doesn't even blink, swings his arm up. Dude's basically saying you aren't worthy to hold a sword. The entire room just went silent, literally zero aura left in the crowd. Darius is trembling now, the fear is real. Roderick throws a side-eye with that cold gaze, caught off guard by Aster's audacity. Who do you think you are, kid? Aster stays calm, dropping the logic bomb. My cousin still hasn't apologized to her yet. Aster's eyes are locked in, zero hesitation. Keep the punishment on hold until that's settled, uncle. Roderick's aura turns dark as hell. I heard you're just some orphan high-freed dragged in off the streets. You really think you're one of us now? Aster claps back, voice smooth as silk. I am his son. Even without the bloodline, I've learned everything about a knight's pride and family honor from my father. Hearing that, Roderick glances up, and his pressure hits a breaking point. Then as a member of the Viscount's house, you've brought shame to the head of the family. The peak of 12,000 knights, the king's blade. That pride you're flexing? It's mid. The crowd is hanging on every word. They know this isn't just some petty child's squabble anymore. Even he's stunned by Roderick's intensity. You should be the one who understands that best. He's watching from above, locked in on the drama. Roderick keeps the heat coming. Your father lost an arm to pay for his incompetence. The blade is inches from Aster's neck. So what are you going to offer up, kid? Aster hits him with the ultimate Chad response, full of respect but zero fear. His uncle speaks up, voice sharp enough to cut glass. This isn't a sibling spat, it's a sanctioned duel. I'm just answering your insults to my family with steel. Roderick frowns, his eyes sharp, not losing focus for a second. But Aster? He doesn't flinch, dropping the ultimate comeback. A loser who can't avenge himself isn't worthy to hold a sword. That was your line, right? Well, I don't plan on losing even a single finger today. Anne, watching from above, is trembling at the sheer audacity. He raises an eyebrow, looking way too entertained. The kid's only 10, you capping? No way. Yet Roderick's face remains stone cold. Finally, he bows out, turning his back on him. I see, but then Roderick pulls a 180 and spins back around. Then show me your stance. Aster instantly locks into position, ready to parry as the blade sweeps right past him. Roderick isn't holding back. The pure power behind that swing sends Aster flying. Seeing the aftermath, and Finn is shook, covering her mouth in pure shock. Highfried panicked, screaming his lungs out, Roderick, you psycho. Fueled by pure rage, he lunged at Roderick with his sword like a man possessed. Roderick didn't even blink, casually parrying the strike like it was light work. Highfried barely managed to stick the landing, dodging a total NPC death. He scrambled over, desperate. But Aster was just staring at a shattered sword, absolute trauma core. But plot armor kicked in, and Aster was somehow still standing on his own 2 feet. Despite looking like he'd been through a blender, his eyes were glowing with pure determination. Roderick gave him a cold, dismissive side-eye, then just dipped. Talk about main character energy. Roderick's aura was dark and suffocating, his knuckles white from gripping his blade. The moment he walked away, Aster's battery hit 0% and he collapsed. Hayfried caught him, frantic. Aster wheezed out a reply. I kept my promise, father. I held the line. Hayfried frowned, looking at his reckless son. You did well, kid. You really did. Roderick marched up the stairs, his footsteps echoing like a villain's theme song. Some guy was waiting there, teasing him. That stunt was pretty childish, don't you think? Roderick didn't even flinch. The guy started yapping logic. If you let the kid talk like that, the main family loses all its prestige. Ending it there was the play. Even he couldn't help but glaze Aster. Surviving a face-to-face with Duke Roderick? The kid's a straight-up prodigy. He stroked his chin, clearly impressed. That was the ultimate debut. Honestly, I thought the kid was going to get shredded like paper today. Roderick glared at them, his red eyes burning. A chaotic era is definitely incoming. He dropped a cold prediction. A storm is coming, one strong enough to tear this entire world into pieces. The next morning, the sky was looking aesthetic, clear blue with fluffy clouds, a total contrast to the vibe check. A guy stood there, jaw on the floor, absolutely losing his mind. He couldn't believe a shrimp like Aster actually clapped a veteran soldier. He smirked, impressed as hell. This kid is actually built different. He shouted with pure hype, young Master Aster. The soldiers behind him were shook. He's 10. Is he even human? The guy replied, ever since the Sword Festival, his training arc has been lethal. The grind never stops. He kept flexing. Plus, you guys hear the tea? He actually cooked the Duke's third son, Roderick. They were vibing with the news, sick of the main family treating them like trash for years, total karma. Meanwhile, Aster's eyes were locked on the grind. He wanted that W at the Sword Festival more than anything. Every swing of his sword was a message. Quit calling us the shame of the Elm Hems. But the final boss is still the head of the Elm Hem house, and he's dying to test his limits in the arena. His face hardened, eyebrows furrowed in that I'm the protagonist mode. Real talk, he knows he's still not strong enough to mog Roderick yet. Amidst the swirling wind, it clicked. The crest is just a status bar for potential, it doesn't define the real grind. Natural-born talent is just wasted loot if you're too much of a fraud to control it. And yeah, I still haven't unlocked the full potential of the 7 wings. He swings his weapon like he's trying to break the physics engine. If only he didn't have to worry about losing control, he could actually cook and test the limit of the 7 wings. A single clean sweep tears the earth apart and sends his ops flying. Aster's gaze ice cold and absolutely locked in. As the final sword strike lands, his voice rings out with that main character energy. Is that all? Who's next to get clapped? In the blink of an eye, Aster has speedrun through every single soldier in his way. From the back, a feminine voice chirps, "You're going way too hard today, aren't you?" Anfine tilts her head, smirking like she's roasting a noob. Zero restraint as usual. Aster, father is calling for you. Stepping over the pile of NPCs he just folded, he sighs, all right, I'm coming. As he walks past her, Aster freezes, absolute mommy energy radiating from her outfit. Anfine turns around, her face calm but her eyes scanning him like a high-tier pro. Aster doesn't even hesitate to drop the truth. Rare to see you in that. Didn't you say you hated it because it wasn't cute enough? Anfine sighs, her voice low-key dangerous. Everything needs balance, right? Seeing you, I realized I can't just stay mid-tier forever. She points her wooden sword at him as a warning, then clears her throat, half joking, half menacing. When you get back, you're spending a lot of quality time with me. Hearing that, Aster can't help but laugh out loud. He puts his hands up in surrender. Go easy on me, queen. Aster stops at the door, gives a light knock, and lets himself in. Hayfried stares back with that cold, stoic Chad energy. You called for me? Sit down. Aster takes a seat, feeling the tension rise. The room is heavy with aura. His father leans back, looking straight up exhausted. It's been 10 years since the day you joined this family. Suddenly, Hayfried pulls out a priceless relic, leaving Aster totally shook. He meant to wait until the kid leveled up more, but his mind is already spiraling. This is he frowns, looking dead serious. The proof of the family heir. Hayfried demands cold-bloodedly, I want you to inherit the Viscount title. Aster freezes. His entire build feels locked by a debuff. You know how sensitive our family's standing is. Hayfried explains with a heavy heart, even if we're flawed, we're the branch of the Elheim bloodline. We've got land to protect and legacies to uphold. I can't leave this position vacant any longer. Aster is sweating bullets, asking, do the sisters even agree with this? Hayfried drops the bombshell. They're at the Night Academy, coming back in 3 days. I'm talking to them then. Aster's stomach drops. Martha and Kudo are returning. Aster's face goes ghost white. If they find out it's game over, especially Kudo, she's gonna go full berserk. He knows the deal. She hates him because he had the audacity to be a boy and inherit the 7 wings. Aster hits the decline button immediately. I can't do it. His voice is ice cold. I can't even control my own mana. I'm still the same kid who almost deleted his own sister. Aster knows he doesn't have the stats to deal with their main character level rage. Hi-Fi doesn't rush to speak. He just drops a subtle, knowing smirk. After a long pause of contemplation, he speaks up. Sometimes I really doubt if you're actually just a kid. He drops a bougie wooden box on the table like it's a legendary loot crate. This ring was supposed to be your reward for the Sword to Dance tournament. Aster stares at the box like an NPC, but his dad cuts in. Actually, I think you'd vibe with this one more. Aster's eyes literally glowed. The man is hyped, his inner fanboy is peaking. Hi-Fi lowers his voice. Behold the demon swordgram. It Devarna like a beast and can suppress the 7 wings power. Absolute meta-breaking gear. Hi-Fi drags him to the middle of the forest. Alright, this spot is secluded enough for us to cook. Aster's confused. Pop, if we're just testing a blade, couldn't we have used the dojo? Why are we in the sticks? Safety first, kid. In case you go wild and start wrecking the floorboards again. He recalls the flashbacks. You had a habit of turning the house into a demolition zone when you were small. Hi-Fi grips the sword, his aura turning serious. The gram is a legacy item reserved only for the heir of the Eam family. The main branch wanted it, but I snatched it back just for you. Steel rings out the second the blade clears the scabbard, pure aesthetic perfection. Aster's pupils shrink to pinpricks. His eyes are vibrating like he's staring at a high-tier gacha pull. The blade looks cursed, unlike any weapon in the server. Wait, is this even a sword? There's literally no edge. Pops. Blue energy swirls around the steel, then a crimson surge of mana erupts. The blade is literally morphing in real time. When you pump mana into it, the red energy reacts. It shapes itself based on your own internal flow. It stretches and warps to the beat of his mana. The weapon is literally an extension of his own soul. Mana explodes from the blade, painting the entire forest floor in a savage red glow. A vortex of wind screams through the trees, vacuuming up leaves and debris. Hi-Fi holds the burning sword with Chad-level stability. His eyes are dead serious. Fair warning, if you're a total fraud with 0 energy, this sword will drain your soul dry. It's infamous for being a total mana leech. The flame-wreathed blade stops right in front of Aster. Want to test your luck, kid? Aster grips the hilt, main character energy at 100%. Flames roar behind him. The mana in his hands is swirling, syncing up perfectly with the blade. He's overclocking the system. Mana hits critical mass and a golden beam of light tears the sky a new one. This feeling. In the fire's reflection, the red mana pulses like a living, breathing beast. Is my own mana just flowing into this thing on its own? A pillar of red light shoots straight to the heavens. Something broken has been unleashed, and the witnesses are looking pale as ghosts. What was that light? Use your head, you NPC. It shot up, not down. Amid the chaos, Fi watches from the shadows calm as ever. Something? What do you mean by that? She doesn't even need a debrief. She already knows what's going on. Must be Aster doing his thing. He tightens his grip, golden eyes sparkling with pure unadulterated excitement. This sword is honestly cracked. Hi-Fi's expression flickers for a second. Cracked? That's an understatement. The sky twists into a massive vortex. The wind and clouds bow to his power. This is your potential, Aster. A power that breaks the family's ceiling. A 7-winged mark carrier. The family archives have 0 records of a prodigy like this. You're gonna surpass me, kid. If you master this full-scale power, one day you'll be a swordsman that makes my 6 wings look like child's play. You're gonna leave even Roderick in the dust. A single thought sears through his mind. I'm gonna surpass him as his knuckles turn white gripping the hilt. The blade erupts with blinding light, but that's the problem. Too much power is just asking for a chaotic blowout. Suddenly, majestic golden wings of pure mana rip out from his back, absolute main character energy. If the world finds out he's rocking the 7 wings, he's basically painting a massive target on his head. You've got the haters, the envious NPCs, and the conniving snakes waiting to exploit him. It's a total canon event for suffering. Hi-Fi reaches out, his hand steady, offering a lifeline so the kid won't have to deal with the regret of being a literal fraud later on. Under the sunbeams filtering through the trees, he whispers, "Get stronger right now." Aster grips his hand back, determination hitting 100. That's right, no more living that pathetic, bottom-tier life from his previous timeline. Aster looks up, eyes burning with resolve. "Thanks, father. I'm going to master the 7 wings and this blade." The whole squad is waiting at the Grand Hall, 3 days later. Welcome home. Kudrika stomps to the front like she owns the place. The 2 useless Kudrifkas have returned. She covers her mouth, eyes gleaming with that chaotic, playful energy. She spreads her arms wide. With a smile that could melt the Antarctic, she calls out, "Come here, my adorable little sisters." The girls rush in, and the hall fills with wholesome laughter. But wait, the girls completely ghost Kudrifka and dive straight into Matha's arms. "Welcome back, big sister Matha." Oof, talk about getting mogged in real time. Hello? What about my hug?" The girls just grimace, because Sister Kudo always messes up our hair. She turns away, salty as hell, refusing to make eye contact. Coping hard, she mutters, "Impossible. I've trained my knightly spirit to perfection. I shouldn't be this unrefined." Seeing Infin nearby, Kudrifka immediately pivots, diving into her arms for some validation. "AFN, have you been a good girl for me?" She's head-patting and hugging her like a total simp, but Enfoy is just confused. "Why are you even over here?" Kudrifka scans the room, realizing someone's missing, and asks, "Wait, where's Aster?" Hi-Fi hesitates. "Oh, as for the boy." Meanwhile, across the forest, a terrifying wave of pressure explodes, signaling he's currently in the middle of a major level-up session. Aster is absolutely losing it, teeth gritted, sweat dripping, trying to force the sword to submit. Damn it, still not good enough. He's staring down his own mana output, calculating the flow. He can shape the blade with magic, but control is still mid-tier at best. He keeps grinding, watching the sword intently. How the hell does Dad handle this thing so smoothly? Suddenly, Kudrifka slides in with that toxic mocking energy, showing off, "Are we?" Aster is caught off guard. "Oh, you're back? Even though you just got home, you couldn't even be bothered to say hi." She frowns, dripping with sarcasm. "Aw, is it cold of me to treat you like that?" The shade starts getting heavy. "Are we not even worth your time? Or do you think you're special? I heard all about the Sword Dance Festival. The Academy is buzzing about you. Dad must be so proud." Aster doesn't even flinch, hitting back with a calm, savage comeback. "Funny you say that. I heard even as a trainee, you've been racking up some impressive missions yourself." Kudrifka is flexing her Academy badge, the only one to snag the Platinum Knight medal this year, pure SSS tier status. She smirks, overflowing with confidence. "Obviously, how else am I supposed to inherit Dad's position?" Her eyes turned ice cold. "So, I heard you're rejecting the inheritance? That's some main character syndrome you've got there." Aster sweating, panic mode activated. "Is she trying to ice me?" Dad definitely snitched. "It's not like that, sis," he lied with a smug smirk. "I just think my aura is too mid to carry the family legacy right now." She marched toward him with absolute Chad energy. "Honestly, both you and the old man." Kudrifka whipped out her blade. "You both know exactly what I want, yet you're acting like a total NPC. Wait, what are you doing with that sword?" G was watching from the sidelines, looking like he was about to have a mental breakdown. Without warning, she cleaved a giant tree in half, sending the trunk flying at him like a tactical nuke. Luckily, he dodged it barely. Talk about a close call. Aster's face was pure shock. "Are you actually trying to unalive me?" Kudrifka didn't even blink. "Let's see if you've got any real skills or if you're just a total fraud." She threw the sword over her shoulder, dripping with pure mommy energy. "Next strike, I'm going full tilt. No cap." Aster scrambled to stop her. "Wait, sis, this sword isn't even finished yet. The stats are all wrong." She wasn't having any of his excuses. "Think the enemies on the battlefield are going to wait for your gear to finish crafting?" Aster just laughed, looking unbothered. Kudrifka got into her combat stance, eyes locked on him with lethal intent. "A knight lives on the battlefield 24/7. Stop holding back, or I'm going to mog you into the dirt. Get it?" He stood there, completely cooked. This isn't a drill, folks. She lunged with the blade. Aster's mana was going haywire. He was fighting just to keep his power from exploding prematurely. His eyes went cold. He had no choice. If he didn't lock in, she was actually going to kill him. He blocked the strike, praying his plot armor held up. Any less effort and he'd be deleted from the server. The whole forest turned into a battlefield, total wreckage everywhere. Kudrifka kept pressing the assault. "Your swordplay is still as crisp as ever, I see. I didn't think you could track my movements, especially since I leveled up at the Knight Academy." She continued the trash talk, merciless as ever. "But seriously, what kind of half-baked technique was that?" She swung hard, sending him flying backward. "Your mana control is basically a massive skill issue." He managed to stick the landing, barely avoiding a total faceplant. Aster couldn't believe it. "Kudrifka, you're literally built different. Not holding back at all, are you?" He realized, damn, she's been like this since day one. Just because I'm the only guy in the Viscount house with a claim to the throne, she's been sweating me. Flashback mode, plying his childhood in 4K. She was always the final boss of the family, rocking that crest with stats that made everyone else look like trash. He remembered her chasing him down constantly, a total hurricane of a sister, always looking for a reason to throw hands and call him a fraud. But while he was busy daydreaming, she vanished from his line of sight. "Honestly, she's the ultimate counter to my playstyle." A voice whispered right behind his ear, making him jump. "Found you, little brother." Kudrifka descended from the sky like a raid boss. She swung her blade with murderous intent. You don't have the rank to lead this family, and you know it. Meanwhile, Martha watched from the window, totally chill. Father, is it really okay to leave those two to go all out on each other? She's stressing out, eyes glued to her dad like a hawk. Someone tell this guy that if he keeps letting them bicker, this family reunion is going to end in a funeral. But the two Freeds? Zero chill. They're basically just two absolute units vibing, and while they're reckless, it's not exactly a tragic anime ending just yet. Martha furrows her brow. She's basically praying her dad isn't delusional. She steps closer, shifting to the main plot. Look, old man, why'd you drag us back from the academy? Don't tell me it's just to talk about the inheritance drama again. Freed pulls something out from under the desk, deadpan. Actually, yeah, it is. Martha is legit shook, staring at the paper like she's seen a ghost. It's an official summon from the Elmhem clan. Looks like the elders at the main branch want to put their precious little grandkid under the microscope. She strokes her chin, eyes narrowing. Yep, this is a massive red flag. Hid gets a serious look on his face, muttering, worst case scenario, we're looking at, we might actually lose everything. Meanwhile, Aster's trying to counterplay. Stop capping. I already told you I'm dropping the inheritance, right? Kudrika, tell him. But Kudrika doesn't give a damn about his feelings. She's here to catch bodies. She swings her blade at Aster with zero hesitation. Holy sh, that's heavy, he gasps. It's like fighting a literal raid boss wielding a sledgehammer. Suddenly, he shifts his grip, pure finesse. That one move makes Kudrika lose her footing for a second. He thrusts his sword up, shouting, can you actually listen to me for once? She doesn't even flinch, just says, you're just running away from your potential, aren't you? Kudrika swings with absolute precision, sending Aster flying into a tree with the force of a truck. What kind of monster tier strength is this? Her blade is radiating raw mana. She's basically calling him a scrub for just swinging mindlessly. Kudrika drops the cold truth, just swinging is bottom tier trash. She stands over him, flexing. Only by mastering the way of the magic sword do you reach the S tier. That look in her eyes, pure disgust. Major L. Aster tries to explain the math. The badge gap reflects our mana capacity, right? One wing difference is basically a 3x power gap. She holds up two fingers, savage as ever, meaning your 5-wing second-rate self is miles behind my 7-wing gigachad stats. Her voice is dripping with pure mockery, and yet you keep running from a direct clash with that cowardly sword style you love so much. She smirks, total aura energy but make it lethal. Are you too scared to actually trust your own power? She brings up the trauma. Or are you just terrified of losing control like you did 3 years ago? Aster's hit with the realization, wait, am I actually scared of my own 7-wing power? He looks at his blade, deep in thought. Is that it? Have I been subconsciously nerfed myself this whole time? His heart is racing with doubt. Is the reason my sword feels like a ticking time bomb just because I've been trying to suppress my own aura? Before he could even think, Kudrika flared her mana. Aster, you've got everything I've ever wanted, you lucky brat. She gripped her blade tight, seething. If you're just going to let that talent rot away in ignorance, then I have every right to be arrogant. She didn't hesitate for a second, lunging forward with a bloodthirsty, hand it all over to me. Aster wasn't about to fold, he immediately shifted into a defensive stance. Boom! Two massive shockwaves of mana collided, shaking the whole damn arena. She looked stunned, screaming in disbelief. No way, he actually countered my full power strike? Aster stayed ice cold, calm as a cucumber. I'm finally seeing things clearly now. As he rushed in, Kudrika panicked internally. Is he seriously charging without even forming his mana blade? Is he crazy? She frantically swung her sword, sweating bullets. Impossible. He should have been drained dry from that last clash. Little did she know Aster was tapping into that infinite broken mana reserve hidden deep within the 7 wings. He was calculating his next move like a pro, realizing, I can't control all this power yet, so forget the blade form. I'm dumping all my mana into one singular frame-perfect strike. Kudrika smirked, showing some serious big sis energy. So you did think of something, you little idiot, while Aster whispered something under his breath. This second life I was handed by pure chance. A mysterious glowing mana crest erupted behind his back. I'm not going to waste it. And I'm sure as hell not wasting this power either. Aster's memories flashed the sword, the family legacy, yet no matter how much he grinded, he still felt like a bottom-tier fraud. Kudrika was left shook, staring at him. A second life? What is this kid yapping about? Mana density hit 100%, and Aster went full savage, aiming his attack straight at her blade. He vanished into thin air, leaving Kudrika's brain spiraling in confusion. She stuttered, looking around like an NPC who lost their quest marker. His sword, he vanished like a completely different person. Aster whispered, unleashing his hidden aura, no more holding back. Meanwhile, Kudrika finally felt the shift in the atmosphere. Her eyes widened, absolute terror dawning on her face. Kudrika froze, her voice trembling. Wait, is this my room? A voice drifted from the shadows. About time you woke up, sleeping beauty. She blurted out, Mafa, did I really sleep that long? Kudrika bolted upright, mind racing. Wait, what the hell actually happened during that fight with Aster? Her sister laughed, dropping the tea. That boy Aster carried you all the way back here himself. She pulled the curtains, adding, he said you fell asleep mid-fight, blamed it on travel fatigue. What a total Chad move. Kudrika glanced at her sword, her inner monologue going into overdrive. No way. I could have sworn he was about to decapitate me in that final second. She realized the truth with a chill. He literally canceled his mana blade the microsecond before impact. She could still feel the residual mana grazing her skin. He'd controlled it with surgical precision. Come to think of it, of course he wouldn't kill his own blood. I really am the one who's cooked. She couldn't shake the doubt. At that exact moment, she genuinely thought she was about to get deleted. Kudrika smirked. Honestly, he's such a toxic little brother even if he's physically a total shrimp compared to her. She suddenly grabbed her sword. Hey Maha, Aster is really heading into the lion's den again? Kudrika aggressively tossed her blanket aside. I'm not accepting this match, no way. She insisted, this time I'm going full power from the start. Maha interrupted, shook. If it were Aster, he'd already be gone. You know that? That realization hit her like a truck. Her sister calmly explained the official summons from the main house. So, that whole drama with father earlier? You didn't know? Her face was a total wait. What? Emote. She panicked and screamed, I literally heard nothing about this. Meanwhile, the carriage was zooming down the road like it had a speedrun WR. Aster just chilled, looking out the window with absolute main character energy. Head of Freed spoke up with some heavy foreshadowing. Everyone we're about to meet are the elders who pull the strings in the shadows of the LM family. He kept dropping lore, former clan heads, branch leaders, and OGs who have been in the game forever. Absolute high-tier players who still hold insane influence. Even long after they've retired from the front lines. Basically, the true puppet masters running this show. Then Head sighed, clearly stressed. Those old hags haven't cared about you since I adopted you, so why call you in now of all times? Aster, unbothered king, turned his head, probably because of that little incident at the Sword Dance Festival. He started spilling the tea. Those LM boomers value their reputation more than money, honor, or even human life. I've heard the rumors. And anyone who stains that precious reputation gets tossed into the beast cage to become an all-you-can-eat buffet. The moment he finished, Head stared at his son, low-key terrified. Aster, where are you getting this info from? He gave a mid-excuse, just heard it somewhere. Anyway, I'm mentally prepped to get executed or exiled. Head frowned, squinting. You actually okay, riding out there with zero escort? Aster replied with peak Chad energy, I'm good. Honestly, I plan to leave right when my sisters arrived. He gave a light smirk, especially for Kudo. If the guy she hates isn't around, she can finally spread her wings and cook. Aster touched his sword. Thanks to Kudo, I've finally started to see how to master this grand blade. He gripped the hilt, eyes sharp. I feel like I can draw out more of the 7 wings power than before. So no matter what happens, don't try to save me. Aster added, I'm ready to survive on my own. Head's brows were working overtime. Aster, my son, but a voice interrupted. Survive on your own? Who are you, some edgy main character? The sisters were shook, totally caught off guard by the intrusion. Aster looked like he'd seen a ghost, total disbelief. Outside the window, Kudrika just pulled up out of nowhere. Kudo? Why are you here? She totally ignored him. Don't tell me you ran all the way here just to catch up? Kudrika climbed inside like it was nothing. You think you're savage for leaving without saying bye to your big sis? She huffed. I heard everything. You got summoned by the elders? Even Maha hasn't been called in once. Head tried to intervene. Kudrika, you know bringing you to the main house is a massive L. She just sat next to Aster, I know. Father summoned us to keep things in check while he's gone. I get it perfectly. Kudrika gives him that icy cold stare, radiating pure don't mess with me energy. But the situation is looking sus, so she's playing it safe. She drops the bomb. Mafa already said it. You know deep down, Aster, you might not be coming back from this one. Aster tries to keep his cool. Sis, you're doing too much. I'm just popping over for a chat. Coming back alive? Well, that's a skill issue I'll deal with later. Suddenly, Kudrika points right at his face. Listen here, Aster. I hate your guts. She starts roasting him with valid points. Because you're a guy, because of the 7 wings, and because you're always getting that special treatment. She keeps going, because you're stronger than your own sister, and you act like you're grown when you're still just my bratty little brother. All of it. Aster stands there looking confused, but then she hits him with the real talk. But even so, you're still my precious family. No matter how strong you get or how much main character energy you try to pull, you're still my baby brother. She stands up, bold as ever, so get your ass back here in one piece, then we'll run the fade again. Kudrika kicks the door open. If you retreat while you're ahead, I'm never gonna let you hear the end of it. Without another word, she just yeets herself out of the carriage. Aster is just standing there like, why is she even like this? Hifri smiles, that girl is a total S-tier rival, huh? Deep down, Aster thinks, I guess, thanks sis. Watching her shadow fade, the MC's aura shifts. It's go time, I'm definitely coming back alive. The moment he steps off, some NPC guard chimes in. Welcome back, Master Hifri. The guard adds, the Grand Elder has been waiting inside for you. Hifri shuts him down immediately. I don't need a guide, I know the way. The guard stays pressed. I'm afraid I can't let you do that, sir. I have strict orders to escort you both inside. He's observing them like a hawk, thinking, yeah, they definitely didn't bring me here for a family reunion. The vibe in this place is absolute trash. Aster is scanning the surroundings quietly, but his eyes drift toward the castle. Damn, total nostalgia bait. It's been ages since I've been home. Hifri suddenly speaks up. I'm sure you already know the deal. The old man drops some serious advice. Whatever you do, don't lose your cool today, no matter what they say. Aster replies, depends on their attitude, honestly. Hifri just sighs and pinches the bridge of his nose, and that right there is exactly why you're such a headache. He keeps yapping, listen, the person we're about to meet is… Meanwhile, Aster's eyes are locked on the training grounds. Dallas is nowhere to be seen. With his main hand crushed, the fraud probably isn't coming back to duty anytime soon. Hifri snaps him back to reality. Are you even listening, Aster? Under his father's gaze, Aster stammers, yeah, of course I am. He doubles down, I'll be a good boy and stay quiet today. My sister already put me on notice that I'd better make it back in one piece. The room doors slowly creak open, and the guard announces them. Master Hifri and his son have arrived. A voice dripping with malice cuts through the air. You finally decided to show up, huh? It's been over 10 years. The old man sneers. Well, what do you say, my dear grandson Aster? Haft instantly hits the floor, bowing like a true NPC. Long time no see, clan head Luke before correcting himself. Actually, great-grandfather is more fitting, isn't it? Aster side-eyes this dude, instantly realizing he's looking at a literal monster lurking in the shadows of the Elm House. He's low-key calculating the 6th clan head of the Genesee Elm mainline, huh? Aster scans the room, mentally clocking that every single person here is a high-tier heavy hitter under the Elm banner. He's keeping it cool, spotting a few familiar faces from the Sword Festival, but one name hits him like a truck. Wait, where the hell is Roderick? Like he's reading Aster's thoughts, Janice drops the bomb. He's not here, you little brat. The old man starts flexing that Roderick is a literal Royal Knight commander now. Janice leans on his cane, basically saying he's too busy for your mid-tier drama, so we old fogies are handling the cleanup duty. Aster's brow furrows. He never even met this guy in his past life, so he's not exactly sweating it. He's cooking up scenarios in his head. The main boss isn't here, but this retired old geezer clearly still has maxed out influence. Then Highfried steps up, cold as ice. And what exactly are these trifles you're talking about? Janice stays unfazed, acting like he's got all the cards. I think you already know, don't you? The sarcasm in his voice is thicker than a villain's plot armor. Heard your pet caused a massive scene at the Sword Festival. Anxiety starts creeping in for Aster. Damn, it's exactly what I feared. Highfried, being the ultimate Chad dad, tries to clap back. Regarding that, Roderick should handled it himself. But the Elder Council starts barking, acting like the whole thing was just a cover-up, and the Elm name is basically in the gutter. They start spewing pure toxicity, saying adopting a random kid was a massive L, claiming they'd ignore him if he stayed an NPC, but now that he's showing his fangs, they're ready to exile him, and Daddy's getting punished too. Aster, standing right there, is ready to lose his cool and go full aggro. Hold up, I'm the one who did everything, okay? He's trying to clear the air, shouting that his father has nothing to do with this mess. But Hyph just shakes his head, signaling for Aster to shut it. Aster freezes, words caught in his throat while Janice continues his condescending villain monologue. Looks like your parenting is straight trash, letting a kid interrupt the adults like that? The old man stands up, radiating major boss aura. We command over 12,000 knights and we carry the weight of the Elm legacy on our shoulders. Yeah, sure, but he's about to find out that those knights aren't exactly as loyal as he thinks. Janice drops the bait and the room goes full toxic mode. Everyone's side-eyeing them like they're already cooked. There's a pack of vultures in the shadows just waiting to climb the ladder over their corpses. The old geezer keeps flapping his gums and newsflash. Every single NPC in this room is plotting their downfall. Janice struts forward, dropping the "we just want peace of mind" act. Classic gaslighting, honestly. He's demanding proof that our boy isn't a threat to the Eomei family. The old rat puts his sword hilt right up in Hifr's face. Talk about main character syndrome, buddy. Hifr's looking shook, but Janice is hitting him with the "do you remember?" trauma dump, reminding him how he dragged the family honor through the mud. Brutal. Then he drops the ultimatum. Hey, remember that time Roderick chopped your arm off in this exact room? With major villain energy, he commands Hifr to take the kid's head off to prove his loyalty. Absolute trash behavior. Aster's face is pure shock, but Janice isn't done. He's doubling down with that snake-like tone. Do this, and all is forgiven. Pressure? What pressure? Hifri hits him with a hard refuse. Pure Chad energy, he doesn't even blink. I'd rather unalive myself than lay a finger on my own kid. The son is watching, clearly processing his dad's W. Janus gets triggered, throws a tantrum, and starts swinging his cane like a total NPC loser. With a voice colder than my ex's heart, he drops the hammer. Fine die then. Your wife, your daughter, and that little brat. I'm wiping your whole bloodline off the map. On cue, the goons rush in. Consider the Viscount family deleted from the server, he basically says. In a split second, Aster and Hifri are surrounded by these low-tier mobs. Aster steps up, calm as ever. What are you so scared of, great-grandpa? The delicious. Janus is absolutely spiraling. Excuse me? Aster hits him with that icy, cold-blooded aura. Look at you all, a bunch of grown men shaking in your boots. Pathetic. If you're that scared of your own dog biting you, just exile me already. He starts loosening his tie like he's about to clock in for a shift. But if you even think about touching my family, Hifr is stunned, watching his son go full beast mode. Aster rips his shirt off, insert fan service capture here, and mutters, "Sorry, Pops, looks like I'm failing the obedient son quest today." The knights are literally glitching out. "Wait, what is that?" they stammer, staring at his back. The seal on his back starts glowing with that high-tier aesthetic, absolute main character awakening. Try it and the Seven Wings will become the Eomei family's worst nightmare. Aster side-eyes them with pure superiority. You guys better think twice before you catch these hands.